So today I just want to thank two people for planting the seeds of creativity. Kelly Sigler, who said she'd cut 1/4 inch strips, and the little mind just went, that sounds like fun. And Diane Brooke, who's been doing some abstract artworks. I thought, I've never done that before. What about let's give us a go and combine both those seeds and see how we go. I selected a really nice piece of glass that's got stripes running across, and I'm going to make sure my strips run in the direction of that. So each of these is a 1/4 inch apart. So that gives us a nice strip, 5mm I think it is, 5mm. So I've popped down these little 6mm darling dots to give you a feel for how thick that 1/4 inch is. So think almost a darling dot, but with a bee's knee off each side. The other thing I'm thinking about as I create these, I wouldn't want them much smaller than that, because then your grout lines are going to overtake your design. So I don't want my tess to be smaller than my grout line, because then I just do one at each of these to do my 1/4 inch strips. You could swazzle it backwards and forwards for an 1/8 of an inch, but I can't break that, and once again that would be way too small for my grout lines here. And I'll score across. I'm really getting the hang of this gadget, loving it. Actually, what I'm doing is starting on the top one, because then I can see it as I move down the piece of glass. So this is the very top. And I can hear you thinking already, but what about that last, or the first rung on this ladder where it is a 1/2 inch? How are you going to get that 1/4 inch? Well, it's called upside down cake. So I can see the last score. So this is my next cut. Break it off at the top 2 inch mark. Spot. You can hear that crack. Because these are a reasonable length and quite thin, I crack one end and then go crack the other end. And of course it just falls off. So to get this one into quarters, we just turn it upside down, pop it on the top and run it across at the 2 inch. Of course, what else would we be doing? Okay, there, and then here on the top bit, and there we go. So it's all scored. So the next is to then break your strips off. So depending on how long they are, the longer they are, the trickier they become. So I'm going to break them off in 2s. Oops, that one didn't work too well, because we don't know how old this glass is that I've got, that's been stored in a potentially not been stored correctly. So I'll just do a little crack on each second bit. Sometimes they'll just break away, but do take care. If I haven't scored it properly, it will also do this sort of stuff, but it could already have a crack in it, so I'm not beating myself up over it. And then we do another crack here, another crack here, and the advantage of these amazing pliers is I can turn this around and come in just past that little crack to here. Now there's no other pliers that you can do to do that, and it just makes life super easy. And you can see how I've got the line here, so I'm aiming it off from the side instead of over the top, so it makes breaking off your long, beautiful long strips very easy. While they cost a little bit extra, they're worth saving up for, because they're just fantastic. I'm always raving about it. It's my most popular video on YouTube, is how to use these pliers. So how lovely are they? Then I thought, well, what about if I have some sticks? Can I make varying size sticks? So I've not done it yet with the beatties, so we'll do that together because we all want to do something different. Can't help myself. But how fabulous is that? And with that, I wonder if you can see that beautiful texture. Eight fantastic strips. So let's do some sticks. I've prepared this bundle of strips in the same way as I did the previous one. And now I'm going to turn it on its end here, and I want to do all different size, I will call them sticks. So we're doing strips and sticks. How much fun is that? So I'm half inch. It's fairly small, but they'll only be used as fillers. And cutting across all those score lines, so there'll be people who'll be freaking out, breaking the rules. And let's see how we go in breaking that score line. It may or may not work. Let's see how we go in breaking that score line. I can barely see it. Right, so I have one row at ½ inch. And now you don't want to see me cut them all up. This way I'll remember I've done the first and the last. Because I'm going to mix these all up. Break that off. So then we have a lovely piece of glass that's scored this way and into the length that we want it to be. And just break them off. Okay. The other thing I might do is actually tumble these to get rid of all the sharp edges. So there I have. So now I have lots and lots of different sizes of sticks, and this would be great with hobby size bits of stained glass, where you can get a lot of sticks for your whatever the price is, so it makes it quite economical. And these will just all go in the melting pot and stir them up. So I'll be aiming for sticks that don't end, because I'll do rows that don't end in the same place another stick does, but the lines that will go across the what will be, we'll call it outer space for want of a better word. And the other thing I do with my projects is I name them, because then that gives me the feel for what I'm doing. So this next piece of my very first abstract art is going to be called Universal Change. So we'll see what pops out with that whole concept and what the brain decides to play with. So you can see how easy it is. Really enjoy it. And you know it's a seed of creativity because you dream about it. So I've been dreaming about sticks the last couple of days. So I have to get it out of my system before I continue on with anything else. The other thing I'm going to feed across and make with these sticks, because I don't want it to be one solid shade of colour. I want some extra interest. So I found this really lovely piece. Let me show you this iridized glass, which will just tone in with it. And I'm going to make sticks of that. So I'll throw it all in a pot, and as I pull them out, they'll be randomly placed. So I think that'll be really interesting. If this is sky or outer space feel for it. So, aren't I glad I bought a beattie? I hope you're having as much fun with yours as I am having with mine. Show us what you've made.